questions are in such a way that you can't give a one answer fits all, but let me make an attempt. Where we met in Obudu. Which place exactly we met in church? We happened to attend the same denomination, the same church, under the same pastor at the time. So I can say we met in church. How? It was, I've seen her in church even though she wasn't consistent because she was not staying in the city at that time. I saw her once or twice. But I didn't go to her straight. I went to the pastor of the church and inquired. I made an inquiry. And he was kind enough to give me the details I needed and gave me the go-ahead to make my intention known, which I also spoke to my father in the Lord. Then he also gave me permission to speak with her, which I did. And today the rest, they say, is history.
Oh, I have to answer too. Well, what he said is not far from what has happened. Of course, I met him. I was a student, and he was a copper. That was the first time I first saw him, and that was like the first time I first saw him. He was serving and I was schooling. And then in the same church, he comes around every now and then. Then me, I was I think a chorister at that time. Yes, I used to sing, and
unto the Lord.
And he was I think an assistant pastor.
No,
then
I was not an assistant pastor.
But he was consistent.
I was a copper coming to the church on Sundays and Wednesdays.
Yeah,
because I was committed in the family house.
So he comes around and all of that, and that was how I saw him. But nothing really struck my mind concerning him because it was too serious, and I didn't want to get myself entangled with those questions. Have you read your Bible? Have you this? Have you that? So I stayed clear and just hello. That was it. And then of course he saw me there. I saw him there, and it ended like that. And then before it became something else, as he said. Thank you.
Milestones. Well, many times I believe marriages are contracted by God to achieve a desired purpose. And it's my own understanding that purpose is not a destination. It's who you become in the journey. This is what I mean. God could have taken the Israelites from Egypt to Canaan land in a few days. But there was who they were in Egypt and who He's expecting them to be in Canaan. The wilderness time was just to prepare them for Canaan. So marriage in itself has a destiny to achieve, but who we become in the process is actually the real deal. So the milestones here, it will be more of who we are becoming being married than we achieve this, we achieve this, we achieve. So what I mean is, before my eyes, I knew what God wanted me to do as a husband. My first responsibility was to make her become who He wanted her to be. The major milestone is who she's becoming as the marriage continues. And I want to use the opportunity to say that it wasn't easy, because I'm kind of purpose-driven than emotional driven. So for me, the greatest milestone is who she is becoming as the marriage continues.
Okay. The milestone is not, you cannot just round it up into an event. It's something that it's a continuous process. It moves stages to stages and gradually. Many times you cannot pinpoint that this is where I became or I grew. But you just discover that you wake up one minute and discover that all the effort that God put together has yielded and made you become who you are. For him as a person, I met him, he was quite crude than he is now. He let's say he was an hard man. He says things the way they are, and he's not afraid of anybody. He's not afraid of what will happen. He just knows that he can do anything through Christ. He damns every consequences and the rest. But over time, I've seen that God has begun to refine him better than he was. Not like he has changed his message. No, he's still the same, but God has given him more wisdom. God has given him more insight on how his ministry is supposed to go. And I have watched him become better and better and better. And I thank God for that, because I can boldly say today that he's better than when we met all around. Thank you.
I'm trying to moments with an X.
Moment of truth.
You know, it's kind of difficult to summarize moments in 10 years. But the first year we married, one of the favorite moments for the first 2 years was our journey to ranch. Yeah, it was, we didn't go alone. It was on our birthday period thereabout, because we married September, her birthday is October. And friends came around, we were just getting to know ourselves then, and we went to ranch. Though we had a little challenge, not together, but why going, some transport issues, a slight accident and the rest, but it was a very, very fun moment. Fun in the sense that that was one of the major times we went out together, and then that ranch experience was one of the memorable moments together, that ranch experience. And then recently, it was the beach experience in Lagos. That was quite the beach moment. And then, yes, of course, when we went to Radisson Blu in Lagos. So generally, the Lagos trip was a memorable time for me. And then the time we spent at Beer Hawks in Lagos also. The beach, Radisson Blu, Beer Hawks, and the journey to Lagos also. Mm-hmm. We journeyed by road and we came back by flight, and it was a good time because it was unscripted. Let me use that word. It was unscripted. There was no shackles. It was just pure freedom, pure life. I think those three moments stand out. Yeah. And then one thing I like about her most times is, no matter the challenges, if not for one-off moments, she values the relationship more than the event. For example, no event has always been bigger than the relationship. So if any matter comes up, she sees the event through the lenses of the relationship, not allowing any event becomes bigger than the contention on ground, in the sense that the marriage is more important than being right or wrong, or being lifting any circumstance bigger than the relationship, which gives room for reconciliation faster than anything, because any reconciliation that will make the marriage stronger becomes her strongest point. She really don't care of being right or wrong. It's majorly of being, let the marriage work, let the marriage succeed. And then for some of the words that she said, we have spoken many times, but some of those words are more like words of reaffirmation, like this marriage must work. It gives you a solid base to fight for what you believe. Words like this marriage must work. It gives you a sign that, wow, we are not fighting a lost cause. We are not fighting a vague battle and an arbitrary battle. We are fighting a battle that we know what we are targeting at. So some of those words, the I love you, the I care for you, they are there, but they don't really strike a chord, because anybody can say I love when the going is sweet, but for you to look at someone and I say, you see, this marriage, it has to work. It's something more of strength. It's something that builds trust. It's something that gives you something to hold on to, even when the world is falling apart. That statement really gets to me. For me, that is basically what I would really say. Keeps me going. Maybe I should add the act of love. Most times, my birthdays and anniversary, she sews clothes for me. So I look forward to it most times. That's one of it. As time goes, I'll be remembering somebody sometimes.
Okay. What I love most about my spouse, about him, let me not say my spouse, he's here. So what I love most about him is that he sees so well to my well-being. I'll say he takes good care of me. I know that he has a belief that a man should always provide, and he puts himself under strict conditions to make sure that need is met. And even when it's not favorable to him, but he just makes sure that I'm okay, the children are okay, and he doesn't falter in his responsibility as a husband and as a father. And that quality is top-notch. I like that, because he cannot be called an infidel. He's not an infidel. He's faithful. I will say that. And also, I will say one of our best moments was usually is when we have time together to talk freely, without quarreling, without arguing, without misunderstanding. We can gist and laugh and just slip off, you know. We can share burden. I value such moments. So if I begin to feel him distant from me, I'll know that those moments are being scarce. And I will always cry and say, see, you are far. I'll say, he say, I'm not far. He will say, I'm not far. He always say, but me, I know when he's there, then he always warm up back. Those are one of my cherished moments. And then others, or not let's say others, another, he has a way of making me feel special, even though
it's a surprise for this.
Even though he doesn't do it often the way I would have wanted it, but he would yes, he don't. Like, you know, he doesn't. Okay, let me skip that. But there are times, especially in my birthdays, he has given me a 2 times surprise birthdays that it was wow. When it was done, I felt like I think I can die now. I'm okay. when I experienced it, I felt it's okay. I'm fulfilled. I can die now. Yes. And then to crown it all, he now took me to Lagos to show me Lagos. I've not been. That's the city I've not been to before.
And many others.
In all of my travels, I've not been to Lagos. So he took me there. Went to the beach. And my sweet moment was when I rode that horse. Yes, I've never ridden a horse before. So I have the video. I will send it to you. Yes.
She has the video. I sent it to her.
So I rode a horse and I was so excited. I felt beach sand. That was my first time. I saw the waves, the natural habitat, the fun, everything. It all makes sense. And then the lodging in the hotel together, like having our personal time together, even though it was never really personal because we still had a guest in our hotel room that has to still restrict some of the privacy we would have had. But that's what we are called for. So yeah, I didn't feel bad about it anyways. So we had time together, one-on-one to, I always like that one-on-one time together. And then we went to Radisson Blu. He mentioned it. It was wow. It made me feel like I've arrived. And then
beer hugs.
Yeah, beer hugs. And then I desired one thing that time to eat shawarma, but we didn't get it. But I know The next time I'm going, I'll eat enough of it. And then
Shawarma in Lagos or
the one in Lagos, the one in Lagos. Then when the one that now broke the camel's back, it was like 2 days to the end of our vacation when he now said, was it 1 day? He now said, "Tada! This is your flight ticket." It was like, I said it that I cannot die. Everything is over. It's okay. So it was that just crowned the whole thing. I said, me, I'm going to fly this year. It was an expectation. I look forward. You know that kind of when they buy you Christmas clothes and it's in the box. You can't wait for Christmas Day to reach, kind of. So I kept waiting. Christmas Day reach now. This day reach. And when it reached, I made sure I experienced every moment. The taking up, the starting of the engine of the flight, the plane, the movement, each of the heights we took, every experience. I watched through the window to see how it was fun. And when we landed, even though moving from where we landed, Enugu down to Budi was stressful, but the stress did not cover the joy of the flight I felt. So he took me, swept me off my feet. So even if he doesn't do anything, which I know you will do, even if he doesn't do anything, but I know he has done a lot. I know he has done a lot, and sincerely. And then, what's the other question again?
No, you have said it all.
Thank you.
Well, how has my faith impacted this union, especially in dealing with difficult moments? I know, as the famous Maismuro will say, when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. You know, there's a principle I operate with, and the principle is this: the greatest marriage seminar you need is to be a good Christian. Because everything about your life should revolve around your faith. Not just faith as an event, but faith as a life. Because some people have faith to have money, but they don't have faith to live by. The Bible says the just shall live by faith. Now, I can still remember about 3 or 4 medical challenges that came up. The only reason we could scale through was because our belief was hinged on the person of Christ. And that means that as your marriage should be more about building your faith, as she said, into God than building yourself for yourselves. Marriage is not meant for you. It was meant for God. So as long as both of you have faith in God, whatever challenges that comes around it, you will know that it's not just fighting to destroy you as a person, is fighting to discredit God in that marriage. So by our faith in God, we find an anchor. As long as we are anchored in God, that anchor the marriage. In anchoring on God, our own marriage is safe. So we are not trying to gather the pieces of our marriages together. We are gathering our faith in God. And when the center, which is God, is steady, then the marriage survives. So we don't try to save our marriage primarily. We try to save our relationship with God. So if I have a challenge in marriage, I know that my response to it should be consistent with my faith. So ultimately, since the marriage is hinged on God, if my faith in God is steady, my marriage is steady. So challenges came, health challenges came, but we stood in our faith with God, and the marriage survived through those tough times. I think that is the best we can summarize it.
You know, there are always times where it seems like all hell is let loose. There are times that he can get discouraged. There are times where it seems like what he's doing is not working. He's not really seeing the fruit of or he's not seeing the result of the input he's doing. At that point, it's not a time to comfort each other. I could come to him and say, "Are you okay?" And if he's sincere enough to say what is bothering him, then I could say 1 or 2 to say, "Don't worry, it's going to be fine," and which is what's supposed to be, because we are supposed to stand by each other in good and in bad times. whether in sickness and in health, according to how our vows, marriage vow goes, in good sickness and in health, in good and in bad, in poverty and riches, not in sweating, not in sweaty or in dirtiness. That one we can adjust it, but not when you're sweaty and dirty and smelling, you don't want to bath. No, but the things that you cannot help them, they are unforeseen. Things like that, we have to stand with each other and we have to work it out, and that's what we've been doing. And I've seen him support me in many ways. You know, anything I want to do, and he asks me, "Are you convinced about it?" And I say, "Yes, I'm convinced." He gives me the full support, even if it's money I need. He supports me with money. So he has really, really been there for me, and I can say I've been there for him too. Thank you.
The sad part of being strong is that everybody expects you to be strong. So you are not permitted to show a sign of cracking. That in itself becomes weakness, because you try to play by what people believe you are. They believe you are a strong person. They believe you can handle challenges. So most times it's difficult. For example, when a man is going through challenges, what people tell you is that be a man, be a man, be a man. Excuse me. They believe that you should be able to handle pressure. So, but the greatest help a man needs is to receive help when he doesn't think he needs it. What I mean is, the greatest help a man wants is for you to be able to see through his strength and realize that he needed help. You see, that's why I like God, because Adam didn't go and apply to God and say, "God, I'm struggling alone here. Don't you see that I needed help?" Adam didn't even know he needed help. God saw through and said, "It's as if this man is trying to show me that he's strong. Put him to sleep. He needs help." So I've seen her come through in silent moments. Even she didn't know that she was helping me. She was just being a female. And that alone, first of all, exposed my weakness and cured my deficiency. It came in two ways. Identify my need and met the need. So most times, men don't like talking much, because when you find a lady that can see through your strength and see the cracks and work on it before it becomes obvious to the outside world, that one is help. So I've seen her come through in difficult moments, in little things that look normal, but that became the reason why the obvious crack didn't show. I may be speaking in parables or in riddles, but many times that is the help money, because most men will never admit they need help until you bring the help. They may just giggle and walk away, but later it becomes the reason why they stay with. And then secondly, most times women help by doing nothing. Let me explain. Sometimes all the man needs to solve his problem is for you to say nothing and just be present. Don't say anything. Just be available. That's why each time I'm asked, I'll tell her that, "See, I don't want you to be the meat in my soup. I don't want you to be the shaki or the runabout. I want you to be the salt." Because a salt don't need to do anything. It just need to be present. Because the presence of salt, if they give a bowl of soup, I say, identify the salt in this soup, you can't. But without it, even the meat becomes tasteless, the more become tasteless, everything becomes tasteless. So most ladies need to understand that your presence alone should bring peace, because when a man is at peace, he can solve and break down every challenges. That is really where I would say the help has really come from. Ladies should learn to understand that the peace you bring to your husband is more than 10 billion naira to him. And then your ability to recognize a crack before the world sees it is the greatest help you can give to a man, which I think and I know she has done to a large extent, which I know she's doing better as the day goes. So I'm looking forward to with optimism, because if 10 years can be like this, then we have more hope for 20.
Is you that's going first?
You see, I personally, I must say I'm not a very fun person. I'm not a celebration kind of person. I carve my moments in within moments. For example, I can have fun in the midst of a crowd by getting them involved, and then for me, the larger the better. Most times when I see people smile and rejoice, I feel okay. I can host an event and just sit and be watching people enjoy it. There now I'm satisfied. So what we do most times, like most of our birthdays and surprise birthdays, anniversaries, I get everyone involved. So they derive their joy in planning it. Then it becomes climax when they see her enjoy it. So we create a system around that. We bring everybody into the celebration, and the bigger the merrier. So we glean from people's joys to enjoy ourselves. On once on a while occasion, like that journey we went out, it was also fun because we had a little time together. But even at the beach, we were not alone.
Of course.
Families came and all that, and the bigger the merrier. That's my own idea about fun moments. I believe my life is like a candle. We burn for others to see their light, and our destiny is fulfilled as we get reduced for others to rise. So my own fun comes from wasting for others to gain. So what people see as I'm suffering become my own source of joy. So I don't know, but that's how I see life. So anytime I want to celebrate something, I throw it to people. As they rejoice, I feel okay. I don't own my life primarily. So it gives me, that's my own idea of fun, basically.
Okay, so right from when we married till now, I can count how many times we've been together alone as couples. It has always been with this ones and with that ones, and I would say currently in my home that there is nothing like privacy. Even my room is not private. Again, there's no my children can barge in anytime. The bigger ones can knock anytime, they come in anytime, and we will be the one to adjust for them to be comfortable in the room. So if somebody is knocking, you have to, so you always, so before I thought it was a challenge. You are married, you could never have a alone time, you're just always with people, you're just cooking, and you're just and I discovered that, hey, what is life without people around you? And before I used to feel that I need privacy, but now I can't do with being private anymore.
Wow.
And I enjoy the presence of people, and as you said,
that is true.
As you said, when something comes on occasion, the joy we have is when people are around. We make noise, we laugh, we gist, we joke, we eat together. That is life. When you're done, you feel fulfilled. And when you go inside, you know that you've not done anything wrong. Not always about you yourself. You're not impacting your world at all. But when any little celebration is an opportunity to bring people together to see, sometimes we play biblical games, we have fun, and it's always interesting. So
the larger the merrier.
Yeah, it's the larger the merrier. So it's okay. We love the way it is. We have been able to merge our call together with our life and as a family and as a marriage, and it's going smoothly. And I can say that, I don't want to stay alone. No. Thank you.
I don't have business. No, I don't.
Okay. I would say I never knew that I would do business because I was supposed to be a career person. I love official things. I love working in an office setup, dressing in the morning, got job, you go out, come back, just face your family and then rest. Then here I am married, not just married to a man of God. So that means I have to always be around. There's so much I need to do. And then I was teaching. I taught to a point, and it was obvious that I need to quit teaching, because combining teaching can be very tasking. Teaching in private school, family life, ministry, the thing was telling on me. So everything just suggested at that time that I need to quit. And before I quit, I had to ask God for something tangible, because I cannot just quit and come and sit down. I know that He will provide. I know that if it's food He will give me, but the food will not go down well in my throat, knowing that I'm just there, not doing anything, when all my senses are functioning. So I don't see it as a good thing. So the Lord helped me to begin my Kava Zobo drink business. And please, where is it? Don't mind. The container. The container. My Kava Zobo business. I began it, and yeah, this is it. So I began the business, and it began to take shape. So when it took a little shape, I had to resign and began to lean on it. And one of the inspiration, even before it became big, it was that to have something to always refresh people with. Knowing that my house is the place where people will always come. So before it became a branded drink, I do it like a normal household drink, put it in bottles, in jug. And formerly, before I had a fridge, my table always carry a jug of water with glass. So when you come in, you have something to drink. So I had that idea that, okay, this drink, I could just offer it to anyone coming in anytime to just take for refreshment's sake. So it inspired me, and people will always come. So it inspired me to do it. And then when the Lord told me to take it further into branding it, I said, oh wow, because when I was asking for a business, He told me I've not explored all they want. The one He gave me, I've not done it to the fullest. And that was what I would say. So I moved into branding it. And since then, it has helped me to be available more to my family, at the same time meeting up with my monthly commitment financially, and also not missing out in our heavenly call. Amen.
How has our marriage impacted on the business? You know,
business impacted your marriage.
So
your business impacted your marriage, or your marriage impacted your business?
Business and marriage.
Business and marriage.
You know, for personally, there's a phrase I always say: life no hard, in the sense that I don't care how wealthy my wife can be. I don't feel cheated, and I don't feel insecure. Why? Because I've found my place, and I'm okay with where God has kept me. And what that means is that anything she wants to make an attempt to do business-wise, the first thing I will tell her is that even if you fail, it changes nothing. You are better than someone who has not made any attempt. So I try to ensure that marriage doesn't put a stop to her life as a person. Because she got married does not mean all dreams and all hopes are dead. I don't believe in that. That is why you marry based on purpose. I can't go and hijack a career woman from her office and come and bend her to be a housewife. Marriage should ensure that as she's trying to help me fulfill my purpose, she's fulfilling her own in the midst of it all, which is what the mantra or the philosophy or the idea behind this marriage that has made her business succeed. I do one or two business which are quite numerous, but it doesn't really change. In fact, I factor everything I do around my faith and my marriage. We run a pig farm which everybody in the house is involved, so it doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
So anything I do, I try to ensure I carry the marriage, carry the family, carry the faith along. So ultimately just one thing: our faith in God. Branching out as marriage, branching out as business, branching out as relationships. So our faith in God has impacted our business and impacted our marriages, and so far so good. It can only get better. You see, trust, communication, and love. First, when we talk about love, the first thing I tell people is not emotion. Love is a decision. Love is a vow. Love is a commitment. The emotion that comes with it are icing on the cake. Now, I used to tell her something. I said, I trust her to a point where even if she keep her phone unlocked, I won't check it. I mean, it has never crossed my mind to go and check it. Why? Because I know that just because you pay the bride price of a lady, you have not bought her love. That one she will give you willingly. Now, there's no amount of pressure I'll put on her that will make her fear me. Because I believe that if she cannot fear the God that created her, that has the ability to kill her, is it me, a mortal man, that she will fear? So I rather push her to the one that created her. He will know how to deal with her for me. So what that gives me is that it gives me a high level rest and trust. That is just the truth. And then I also believe that if I need to police her to be loyal, then it's not love at all. My major concern is the area of communication, because words unsaid can give room for gaps and misunderstanding. And I learned some of these things the hard way, because you can have love, but if you don't communicate it, you won't build trust. If you have love, but you don't communicate your intentions, you don't communicate your motives, you don't communicate it, it can't build trust. So when I discovered these things, I now understood that the truth is, don't wait for love to grow naturally. If you are not deliberate, it will die off. Even if it is God said, even if an angel came and joined you people, if you don't build it, marriage is garbage in, garbage out. Emotions will fade. But when love is in place and you communicate it, it solidifies trust. Which I learned, and I tell young, okay, maybe when we get to that side, but I want everyone to know that if you think that your love will grow naturally, it will die naturally. You have to be deliberate, you have to cultivate it, and it's forever work to make it work.
I would say that love is effort. I will begin from love. Love is effort, and you cannot claim that you love somebody when there is nothing to show. There's no proof of that love. Bible says that for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. So a proof that you love something is that you are able to give towards it.
Yeah.
So in this phase of marriage, we have seen how God has helped us to sustain love. And as for me as a person, God has helped me to see how I love my spouse the best I can. And then I show it in both my action and in both my sacrifice. That is the only way I can show it. I may not say it every day. I might not be in the mood to even say it. In fact, there might be some things that are paining me that I don't even want to say it to him. Yeah, but I can still stand up from there and make sure his food is ready. I can still stand up from there and make sure that he has his hot water ready to bath, and can still stand up and make sure that, okay, I have a little change. Let me just this one prepare a little soup. Let me not worry him too. All of this is still a show. It's still a show of love. And then when we talk about trust, from the beginning, at first I found it difficult to trust him completely. Not in any way, but I was afraid for myself, in the sense that his life was still entangled in the sense that the kind of thing that God called him to do was daring. How can God be calling you to be raising plenty people, then most of them sisters, women, ladies, and most of them are more beautiful than I am. Some of them are more educated than I am. Some of them may even look more talented than me, gifted and anointed per se than I am. And then you are telling me that don't worry, I'm doing the work of God. You are doing the work of God. Is it that you are blind? Are you not seeing that this girl is finer than me? And then I had that issues, and that was one of the things that people told me, this man, he's always with people. He's always he's always he's always with ladies, he's always with this. And I say I will cope. Just when I got in, it dawned on me what I was actually going to cope. So I was not afraid that he will fall. No, I knew he will not. But I was afraid that they may take my place in his heart a bit to try to win his soul. The soul might drag you further than you expected. So my heart was at stake, and I know that I can't stand certain things. My heart can't take much. So I was afraid. It was so hard for me to release all of my trust. But as time goes on, I began to see it beyond that. Began to see it beyond what I felt or what personalized, or I just decided to just let everything slide, and bit by bit it kept rising. Even now it's not yet 100%, but God is helping us. And then coming to communication, have you commitment now? Communication. Yes, I must admit that the beginning part of our lives, communication was poor. Yes, it was very poor, because he is always, I've said it and I've said it. You don't interfere with what I've said. It's stamped on a stone. Nothing can be done about it. So your suggestion doesn't really count. So he was that kind of person. So it was difficult to tell him or approach him or suggest, because he is an intelligent person. So he feels that he knows it all. Then though, so it was hard for him to listen to me, like me. I'll not say less intelligent. God made me too intelligent. So it was hard. So communication was so many times when it got to that point, I just lock up whatever I want to say and allow him do his thing and just face my own. So it made our communication level go down, because even the small one that tried to come up, he will quench it. So I'll just return back to my shell and allow him do his thing. So and because of that, it drove us to a stage where it was very difficult. We began to face certain major misunderstanding because we don't communicate often. So we assume, as he always say, assumption is the lowest form of knowledge. So I will be assuming that my corner at my chair, he will be assuming at his corner at his chair, and then we began to have countless misunderstandings until the Lord helped us to identify that we were not communicating, and it has formed a major hindrance to our growth in marriage. And thank God we were able to fix it. We communicate faster and better now. And I begged him, I said, please let nothing be too much for us not to talk about. There should be nothing that is too difficult. Also, no matter how terrible, we should be able to talk about it. Not reactionarily, but we should at least listen to each other. Then if you have a defense, you can put up. If you have something to say, but not to repel it at its appearance. It kills even the urge to speak out next time. I think that'll be it. Yes, no. Finally now.
So that's what we're saying. First, I would say relative, but I'll be tilting towards invalid, because marriage is never about you. It's always about God. And then when we talk about a man like Abraham that had about 318 men living with him, the Bible didn't tell us at what point they came, but 318 men is like a reception every day. There are some weddings that have less than 200 guests. So it's like they were slaughtering like a cow or 3, 4, 5 cows daily. Now and then, if you know the level of decay that's in a family setup, you know that people need help. So when you become selfless, you can even get 100 people in day one, because there's a goal you have. But if maybe God has called you into a private ministry, private life, I won't be the one to judge you on that. But I believe everything God does, He have generation in mind. So if you can stay alone for 1-2 years before bringing on somebody else, fine. But I believe communication is very important, because even if two of you are alone in the house without communication, it will still be as terrible as having 1,000 people in the house. But even if you are 1,000, but you have the way of communicating, which is something I learned the hard way, but now I think I'm knowing better and I'm understanding better. With proper communication, even if you have 100 people in the house, it will still work out. For example, my father in the Lord, Apostle Arome, his wife came, he brought his wife to meet, more like a crusade in the house. She testified about it online. The videos are everywhere. And then even her kitchen space, she was dragging it with members. It was quite, but today you could see her look back and she could see the generals they raised by that discipleship in the family life, which is something I deliberately want to pattern my life after. So I would say invalid with my few reasons.
Well, as he said, it's relative, because no two marriages are the same, and no two marriages have the same agenda or purpose or vision. So it's not every man of God out there that has the grace to tolerate people to live with him or her. And then while some, it is their mandate that people must be in their house. So me, I would just say, if you feel that your marriage is not something that people has to interfere with, well, you could do it as you please. But if you feel that God is saying you should raise people in your house, then I believe that, okay, after you get married, a week or two is okay for your alone together, or maybe honeymoon or something. You come back for your honeymoon and then you have people to live with you. I think it's okay, because you still have your bedroom where you can still retire at night to have any other privacy talk you want to have. But I think it's not a bad idea, but you should do it not because you saw Mr. A doing it. Do it according to what God has instructed, because such things come with grace. And if the grace is not available, my sister, my brother, run. But if grace is available, dive into it with all of your heart.
How will you know the grace is available?
By your vision.
Oh, okay.
It's according to your vision. Your vision will tell you, and the Lord will always make it available.
I don't have the advice for them. They should go and marry. I don't have to advise people when they go marry. No, I don't get advice for them when they go marry. Yeah, but that's by the way. But
what's the advice you want us to advise them?
No, the truth is this. The advice I would tell them is that go and marry. You see, I wish people can marry early and solve some
and there's no amount of marriage seminar that can actually describe.
They should just
marriage.
Be Christians, that's all.
Just enter inside you
and be a
sort
Christian.
It out.
Be a Christian, that's all. Just be a Christian. But make them marry, seriously.
Make them marry.
Make them marry.
At least the thing will teach them.
And sincerely, my advice is that people should marry as early as possible. Sincerely. Don't wait until you are 30. I know it will not go down well with people, but may I believe that if you do marriage the God way, you will marry the God way and you enjoy the God way. Most what society call glamorous marriage is my days, just carnality, flesh, and satanism, nothing more than that. Because marriage is supposed to be something lovely, something simple, something nice, not a crowdfunding thing, not something you do to compete. You began your marriage with competition, you will die by competition. But if you begin with God, and no matter how simple, you mustn't wear wedding gown for God's sake. You can call, I'm a pastor, you call 2 persons, call their families. We join them and they are okay. And then you begin to live by the principles of God on a very serious note. My goal in life is to discourage a lot of extravaganism in terms of getting married. Many people really want to be married. They found somebody they love, but the argument is that they need money, they are saving. Somebody saves his entire life saving for 10 years to marry in a day and start living in debt for the next 15 years and killing the marriage already. If I would advise them, marry early, marry simply, and then God bless you. But I don't have to advise them, shall they hear what they hear what.
Me? Me, I have problem advising people because sometimes people will take your statement and take it to the bush and then make something out of what you did not see. But on a serious note, marriage is sweet when you marry the right person. And marriage can be a hell if you marry the wrong person. And I always have this belief that find security, find your purpose before you go and entangle yourself with anybody.
Security as in by security guard.
Find your security in yourself. Be contented with who God made you to be.
Okay.
Then you can now find who you were meant to be. Then you can now join. Because if you join a man who is not called by God yet, and then the man has not found his purpose, you have not found your purpose, there might be clashes. So I think a young lady or a young man should first sit down and find why it's even alive. When you find out why you're alive and what you're meant to do for your world, and then you can now push it into getting married. When you enter marriage, you know that you begin the assignment even from your biological children, even if you cannot extend it to the general congregation that you don't have. But you begin from that your nuclear family to train your children and even your spouse. That is for the man's side, to train even your wife, your children in that same thing that God has shown you. So me, I believe that you should find who you're supposed to be secured in it, then you cannot engage into marriage. So that you'll not be confused and you'll not be lost when you get in. Thank you.
You'll not be confused or amazed. Yes, God bless you. I love you, my sister. You are blessed. Amen.
I'm not your sister. Sit down. I'm not your sister.
So me, I'm in the valley. It's a work myself. So me,
we are blind watchers now. We
need to my sister.
We need to see. We need to watch now.
See, some of those things can best be done spontaneous. And yes, it's spontaneous. Even now, you make me say what I don't mean. And she's talking to you.